Welcome back. Well, sooner than we know it, the NCAA Board of Governors are going to actually review rules for trans athletes competing in collegiate sports. Although the Board of Governors cannot implement legislation, I'm told, by their rules, they are allowed to recommend guidance to each division in the NCAA. Here's some good news. That meeting is set to take place tomorrow on the 20th. What's going to happen? As we all know, there's many, many Americans out there who believe that sports should be played on an even playing field. Meaning, if you're a biological male, maybe you should stay in male sports even if you have transitioned. Crazy thought, right? Olympic swimmer Michael Phelps spoke out saying that sports should be on an even and level playing field. Wow, what a novel idea. You are transphobic, Michael. Oh my gosh, they're going to cancel you. No more hot tub commercials for you. Now, if you'll recall, UPenn trans swimmer Leah Thomas faced major criticism from teammates and swim team parents for competing on the women's swim team and breaking records. This as she competed on UPA men's swim team for 3 years before he transitioned to a she, biologically a he. I don't do the pronoun thing. Sorry, left, call me whatever you want to call me. I don't really care. I'm not doing the pronoun thing. Now, while on CNN recently, Phelps spoke out about encouraging an even playing field. Pretty gutsy for this guy to even say that with the cancel culture woke mob out there. Watch.
Because it has to be a level playing field. I think that's something that we all need, because that's what sports are. And for me, I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know what's going to happen. I believe that we all should feel comfortable with who we are in our own skin. But I think sports should all be played at an even playing field. I don't know what that looks like in the future.
Yeah, see, I'm kind of in agreement with him. Look, if you want to transition and do whatever, I don't care. That's your life. Do whatever you want. But don't tell me that I can't think that it's not following science, because biologically there's two genders. Uh-oh, that one's going to get me in trouble. Two. There's two, not 100. My next guest is a former NCAA athlete. And Karoline Levitt, she wrote an op-ed recently on trans athletes competing in the correct biological sport and team they should be, which again, I think I'm going to agree with our next guest. Karoline, writing in the op-ed in the Washington Examiner, the title was Transgender Ideology is Trampling Title IX. Yeah, think about it. How long did women fight for equal rights in sports, at work, paychecks, voting? Decades women fought for this stuff. And now you're letting men, and it's such a small amount of men, and again, I'm not trying to trample on anybody's American freedoms and rights, but a small amount of men get to transition and then come in, break records, steal trophies, and take everything that women work so hard for in sports, whether it's high school, college, or pro. This is getting absurd. And women around the country on any political side of the aisle should be outraged. I want to welcome Karoline Levitt to the program. In addition to being a heck of an athlete, she is also, I'm told, now running for Congress in New Hampshire's 1st District. Karoline, welcome to the program. How are you today?
I'm doing really well, Dan. Thank you for having me on, especially about this really important topic.
Sure is. I was amazed, and I met the man years ago, I forget where, and obviously most of the country, the world was impressed with his swimming, that he would come out and make a statement, because, man, if you come out and say anything that transgender men should not be competing in women's sports, you are, you're doxxed, you're canceled. I mean, they want to ruin your life for saying that kind of stuff.
They absolutely do. And the messages I've received from liberals on the left and so-called feminists for standing up for this exact issue, for this scientific truth, is outrageous. But I don't care, because I'm standing up for science and I'm standing up for what is right. As you mentioned, I'm a former collegiate athlete myself. I'm now a candidate for Congress, and I pledge to be a fearless and vocal advocate for women and girls across this country, like Leah Thomas's teammates and those who she swims against, who are being totally undermined and who all of their hard work is being trampled on. Now, Michael Phelps did also say that this issue is complicated. I disagree with him on that. It's not complicated at all. There are two sexes. There are biological men, there are biological women, and we need to protect women's sports. That's what Title IX was intended to do. So not only are these situations unfair, unsafe for these female athletes in many circumstances. I played softball, okay? I played third base. It's the hot corner. I stood about 6 feet away from home plate. If a biological man like you, Dan, stepped up, I think you'd knock my teeth out. And I'm okay with saying that because you have superior physicality and physique to me because I'm a woman, and that's okay. And that's what makes America and this world so great. So the fact that people seem to lack the courage to speak out on this issue, and I feel like I'm the only candidate, I'm definitely the only candidate in the race I'm running in New Hampshire, but across the country who's speaking out on this, it's outrageous. So I will definitely be fighting for women and girls on the House floor.
Yeah, I'm so glad in your op-ed you brought up Title IX because, man, how long, again, did women fight for the right to get their own sports, you know, and their own divisions and their own groups and organizations and everything that I just don't understand how feminists, how women rights folks, how even Me Too, like all these movements for women over the decades from the left, how they look the other way and say, well, we got to be compassionate, understand their feelings. Look, I'm sorry, feelings don't affect science. And science says two genders. So, sorry, screw your feelings. I mean, I'm going to blow the internet up on that one, but that's the truth. Why can't we just say truth and facts anymore and not get persecuted for it? Women have been persecuted long enough in this world and this country.
That is exactly right. But here's the thing. The left likes to talk about emotion. They like to talk about compassion all the time, whether it's on this issue, whether it's on the issue of immigration and the border crisis, but they don't actually care at all. This is about implementing their perverse world view. And that's ultimately what I tried to touch on in my op-ed. Essentially, communism is here, and it's in the name of the Democrat Party. And what do these communists want to do? They want to get rid of masculinity. They want to erode the family. They want to get rid of all of the fundamental values that make America great. And this is no different. And conservative leaders who we've elected at all levels have allowed this to happen for decades. That's why we live in a country in America where a man is able to beat a woman at a collegiate swimming match by 38 seconds. And people just stand there and say, this is okay. It's absolutely outrageous, but it's because we've elected spineless conservatives. And I've had enough. And that's why I'm running for Congress.
Good for you. Karoline, where do folks in New Hampshire find information about your campaign?
Absolutely. They can go on my website. It's karolineforcongress.com. My name is Karoline with a K. I'm a former assistant press secretary for President Trump and the former communications director for Elise Stefanik. So
I thought I recognized you.
Yeah, I will fight for you.
Okay.
No, absolutely. And I'm stepping up to run in my home district, New Hampshire's first. We're leading the way here. We have so much grassroots support. It's an honor and would love to have the support of your viewers. Thanks for having me, Dan.
Good for you. Karoline Leavitt, running for New Hampshire's first. Thank you so much for what you're doing. Appreciate you.
Thank you.